7-year-old Kai Timfrey adjusted his burgundy tie and surveyed Seoul Foreign School's first-grade classroom with the calculating gaze of a CEO entering a boardroom. Everything was in order. The best seat, front row, center, optimal sightlines to the board and teacher, was his. Strategic positioning mattered, even at 7. He'd claimed it on day 1, defended it for 3 weeks, and today some new student thought they could just... "Excuse me," a voice said behind him, clear, confident, with a slight Nigerian accent that made each word sound deliberate. "You're in my seat." Kai turned slowly. A girl stood there, 7 years old like him. Dark brown skin, hair in neat braids pulled back with a silk ribbon, wearing a perfectly pressed school uniform with a small briefcase, actual briefcase, not a backpack, in her hand. She looked at him the way he looked at people who wasted his time. "This seat," Kai said, pronouncing each word carefully, "has been mine for 3 weeks. Possession is 9/10 of the law. Possession requires legitimate claim." She set her briefcase down with a decisive click. "I submitted a formal request to the administration yesterday for front row seating based on my academic performance metrics. They approved it this morning." Kai blinked. No one had ever academic performance metrics, he repeated. "Top scores in mathematics, science, and language arts. Documented proof." She pulled out a folder from her briefcase. Actually pulled out documentation. "I can provide references if needed." Around them, other first graders were watching with confusion. Some were still learning to tie their shoes. These two were negotiating territory like corporate lawyers. "Virtue Victor," she said, extending her small hand for a handshake. "Professional, formal. Transfer student from Abuja. I don't waste time, I don't do participation trophies, and I don't do backup plans. So, the seat?" Kai stared at her outstretched hand. No one at this school talked like this. No one dressed like this. No one carried briefcases and documentation to first grade. No one except him. He looked at her. Really looked. She didn't blink, didn't back down. Just waited with the patience of someone who knew they'd already won. Kai made a decision. He moved his things 1 seat to the right. "Temporary arrangement," he said. "Subject to review based on performance." "Acceptable." Virtue sat down, arranged her materials with geometric precision, then looked at him. "You're Kai Timfrey, the one who wore a 3-piece suit to orientation and asked the principal about the school's 5-year strategic plan. You researched me." "Obviously, I research all potential competition." She pulled out her notebook. "You're also the one whose father owns half of Seoul and whose mother closed the Huang merger in 3 weeks. You're thorough. I'm efficient. There's a difference." She glanced at him. "Also, your tie is crooked, left side, is 3 millimeters lower than the right." Kai's hand went to his tie automatically, then stopped. Was she... "That was a test," Virtue said, the corner of her mouth twitching, almost smiling. "Your tie is perfect. I wanted to see if you'd check." For the first time in his entire 7 years of life, Kai Timfrey was completely thrown off balance. He didn't know whether to be annoyed or impressed. The teacher walked in. "Good morning, class. Oh, I see we have our new student. Everyone, this is Virtue Victor from Abuja, Nigeria. Let's make her feel already settled, thank you." Virtue said politely but firmly, then quieter to Kai. "We should discuss study group arrangements. Your schedule or mine?" "I don't do study groups." "Neither do I. That's why it'll work." Kai looked at her. She looked back. Somewhere in the back of the classroom, a kid was eating glue. And here they were, 2 7-year-olds negotiating academic partnerships like merger agreements. "Thursday. Afternoons," Kai said finally. "Library, bring your data." "Obviously." Virtue opened her notebook. "Also, I should mention, I'm 3 days older than you, so technically I have seniority. Age is irrelevant to intellectual capacity." "Agreed, but I'm still older." "By 3 days. Precision matters, Kai. You said so yourself." He stared at her. She stared back. And despite himself, despite his carefully maintained 7-year-old professionalism, Kai felt something that might have been respect, or possibly the beginning of a headache. With Virtue Victor, it was hard to tell the difference. If you're just joining us and wondering how a 7-year-old ended up negotiating seating arrangements like a corporate executive, pause right here and go watch part 1 first. You'll want to know how this tiny CEO in a 3-piece suit confronted Seoul's most dangerous billionaire and reunited his parents after 7 years of separation. The link is in the description. For everyone who's been waiting for part 2, buckle up. Things are about to get interesting. Hit that subscribe button because you won't want to miss what happens next. 3 months into living in Seoul, Roberta Timfrey had learned several important things. 1. Korean corporate law was simultaneously more rigid and more flexible than American law, depending entirely on who you knew and how well you navigated unspoken hierarchies. 2. Her mother-in-law's twice-weekly dinners were less about family bonding and more about subtle tests of Roberta's ability to handle chopsticks, speak Korean, and raise Kai according to standards that seemed to change weekly. 3. Her husband was possibly more attractive when he was being domestic than when he was being a billionaire, which was unfortunate because it made concentrating on work extremely difficult. And 4. Marriage to Han Min-jae came with complications she hadn't fully anticipated, like the fact that her current client's opposition had just threatened her in the parking garage of her law firm. Roberta sat in her car, hands still gripping the steering wheel, replaying the encounter in her mind. The man had been professional, polite even. Expensive suit, practiced smile, voice that never rose above conversational. "Mrs. Han," he'd said, appearing beside her car as she'd unlocked it. "A word?" She'd frozen, recognized him immediately. Park Min-seok, legal counsel for Daehan Industries, the company she was currently suing for environmental violations on behalf of a coalition of affected residents. "We should talk," he'd continued, leaning against her car like they were old friends. "About your case, the one that's causing so much disruption. If you want to discuss settlement terms, contact my office through proper channels." Settlement. He'd smiled. "That's one option. The other is that you drop the case entirely, walk away, tell your clients you can't continue representation." "And why would I do that?" "Because you're new to Seoul, Mrs. Han, new to how things work here. You're making powerful people very uncomfortable, and uncomfortable people make rash decisions." He'd straightened. "You have a family now, a son, 7 years old, I believe? Seoul foreign school, smart kid, very visible." Her blood had run cold. "Are you threatening my child?" "I'm providing context. Your husband is Han Min-jae. That's significant protection, but even he can't be everywhere." Park had pulled out a business card, placed it on her hood. "Think about it. You have until Friday to withdraw. After that, we pursue alternative strategies." He'd walked away, and Roberta had sat in her car, rage and fear warring in her chest until her hands stopped shaking enough to drive home. Now, pulling into the driveway of their house, she saw Min-jae's car already there. He was home early. Good, they needed to talk. She found him in the living room with Kai, both sprawled on the floor with what appeared to be architectural blueprints spread between them. "The structural integrity is compromised here," Kai was saying, pointing with a ruler. "If you're going to expand the building, you need to reinforce the foundation first. It's basic engineering." "It's a 50-year-old building," Min-jae said. "Reinforcement is expensive. So is rebuilding after collapse. Cost-benefit analysis favors prevention." "You're 7. And correct." Kai looked up, saw Roberta. "Mom, tell Dad that proper foundation reinforcement is non-negotiable in commercial construction." Roberta blinked. "What are you two doing?" "Dad brought home building plans. There are 12 critical errors. We're on number 7. "It's quality time," Min-jae said, rolling onto his back to look at her upside down. His long hair had come partially loose from its tie, falling around his face. "How was work?" She must have made a face because both Kai and Min-jae immediately sat up. "What happened?" Min-jae's voice changed, sharpened. "Nothing I can't handle." "Mom's cortisol levels are elevated," Kai observed. "Heart rate approximately 95 beats per minute. Respiratory pattern indicates stress. Something happened." "I'm fine, baby." "You're a terrible liar," Min-jae said, getting to his feet in one fluid movement. "What happened at work?" Roberta looked at Kai. "Can you give us a minute?" "If this is about your case with Daehan Industries and the environmental violations lawsuit, I'm already aware of the situation. I've been monitoring the filings. You've been what? Monitoring the filings. You left your briefcase open last week. The case is interesting. Daehan has significant political connections which complicate litigation strategy, but the evidence of environmental damage is substantial. You should win. Min-jae looked at his son. You read your mother's case files? She left them accessible. That's implicit permission. That's absolutely not what that means. Agree to disagree. Kai stood, brushing off his school uniform. But if someone from Daehan contacted Mom today, she should document everything immediately. Witness intimidation is a criminal offense. Both parents stared at him. How did you? Roberta started. Your hands are shaking. You're home 45 minutes early, which means you left work immediately after something happened, rather than completing your usual end-of-day routine. And you have that specific expression you get when someone has threatened something you care about. Kai adjusted his tie. I'm 7, not oblivious. Min-jae's expression went very still, very cold. The expression Roberta had seen once before, in a hotel lobby, when he'd realized someone had kept his son from him for 7 years. Someone threatened you. It wasn't a question. It's handled, Roberta said. What did they say? Min-jae, what did they say? She looked at Kai. Baby, can you please? I'm not leaving, Kai said flatly. If someone threatened our family, I need to know. You're 7. And this directly affects me since I was specifically mentioned in the threat. He crossed his arms. What did they say about me? Roberta closed her eyes. Of course he'd figured that out too. A man from Daehan Industries approached me in the parking garage, suggested I drop the case, made reference to you being at Seoul Foreign School, implied that bad things happen to people who make powerful enemies. The temperature in the room dropped about 20 degrees. Min-jae pulled out his phone. What are you doing? Roberta asked. Calling my head of security. If someone threatened my family, they're going to learn exactly why that's a terminal mistake. I can handle this legally. You'll handle it legally. I'll handle it practically. He was already dialing. No one threatens my wife. No one mentions my son. And absolutely no one combines those two things and continues to draw breath in this city. Dad, Kai said, don't kill anyone. Mom doesn't like cleaning up bodies. I'm not going to kill anyone. I'm going to make them wish I had. Min-jae turned away, phone to his ear. Yes, conference room, 20 minutes. Bring everything we have on Daehan Industries and Park Min-seok. Roberta sank onto the couch. This was spiraling. Kai climbed up beside her. Are you okay? I'm fine, sweetheart. You're not, but you will be. He leaned against her. Dad's very efficient at removing problems, sometimes aggressively so, but efficient. That's not comforting. It's accurate. Kai pulled out his tablet. I'll start researching Daehan's corporate structure. If they're threatening you, they're vulnerable somewhere. Everyone is. You're doing homework, not corporate espionage. I can multitask. Min-jae ended his call, turned back to them. His expression had shifted from cold rage to calculating assessment. Here's what's going to happen. First, you're getting a security. Detail, non-negotiable. I don't need... You have someone following you to work, someone watching the house, and someone shadowing Kai at school, starting tomorrow. Dad, I don't need a babysitter. You're 7 and someone just used you as leverage against your mother. You're getting 3 babysitters. Kai opened his mouth, closed it. That's fair. Second, Min-jae continued, I'm going to have a conversation with Daehan's CEO, a very pointed conversation about professional boundaries and what happens when you cross mine. I can fight my own battles, Roberta said. I know you can. You've been doing it for 7 years without me. He crossed the room, crouched in front of her. But you don't have to anymore. Let me help. This is my case. And you're my wife, our son. His jaw tightened. No one gets to threaten what's mine. I'm not a possession. You're everything. He took her hands. Let me protect you, please. Roberta looked at him, at the man who'd spent 7 years searching for her, who'd reorganized his entire empire to be worthy of her, who looked at her like she was the sun and he'd been living in darkness. Fine, she said, but I'm keeping the case. I wouldn't expect anything less. And I'm going to win it. I know you will. Without your interference. I'm just going to have a conversation. Very civilized. Min-jae. Very civilized. Kai snorted. Dad's version of civilized usually involves someone losing their company. Only if they're unreasonable, Min-jae said. Roberta pinched the bridge of her nose. I married into a mafia family. Technically, you married the mafia family, Kai corrected. Dad is the mafia family. We're just beneficiaries of his questionable business practices. They're not questionable. You literally just threatened to destroy someone's livelihood. Only if they keep threatening your mother. That's definitionally questionable, Dad. Min-jae looked at Roberta. Your son is being difficult. He's your son, too. Only when he's being difficult. When he's brilliant, he's yours. That's not how genetics work, Kai said. If you're watching this and thinking, wait, is the 7-year-old the most rational person in this family? Yes, he is, and it only gets better from here. Make sure you're subscribed because Kai's about to teach some very powerful people a lesson in what happens when you mess with his mom. The next morning, Roberta woke up to find Min-jae already gone. His side of the bed was cold, which meant he'd left early. Very early, which meant he was handling the Daehan situation his way. She should probably be more worried about that. She found Kai in the kitchen, wearing his school uniform and eating meticulously organized breakfast while reading the business section of the Korea Times. Your father left early, she said, pouring coffee. I'm aware. He kissed my forehead at 5:47 a.m. and told me to protect you while he was gone. I told him I was 7 and also asleep. He said age and consciousness were irrelevant to duty. Kai turned a page. He's very dramatic in the mornings. Did he say where he was going? No, but his car headed toward Daehan Industries headquarters, and he was wearing the black suit. What's significant about the black suit? He only wears the black suit when he's going to ruin someone's day. Kai looked up. You didn't know that? We've only been married 6 months. You should learn his patterns. The black suit means corporate warfare. The navy suit means negotiation. The gray suit means family events. It's very consistent. Roberta sat down. How do you know this? I pay attention. Also, grandmother told me, she's very helpful with understanding Dad's behavioral patterns. He returned to his newspaper. She also said you're doing well with chopsticks, but your kimchi tolerance needs work. I'm not trying to increase my kimchi tolerance. You should. Family. Dinners are easier when you're not crying into your rice. I don't cry into my rice. You cried last Tuesday. That was from the spice, not emotion. The effect is the same. It suggests weakness. Kai folded his newspaper. Grandmother appreciates strength. I suggest you build spice tolerance systematically. Start with mild peppers. Work your way up. Roberta stared at her 7-year-old son. Are you seriously coaching me on how to impress your grandmother? Someone has to. Dad's useless at family politics. He just intimidates everyone into compliance. Kai slid off his chair, grabbed his briefcase. Speaking of which, I need to get to school early today. Virtue and I have a study session before class. The girl you gave your seat to. I didn't give it to her. We negotiated a shared seating arrangement pending performance review. What does that even mean? It means I like her, but I'm not going to admit it, so I'm couching our interactions in professional terminology. He adjusted his tie. It's very efficient. Kai? Yes? Do you have a crush on Virtue? His expression went very carefully blank. I'm 7. That's not an answer. I respect her intellectual capacity and appreciate her direct communication style. Still not an answer. She challenges me in ways my peers don't. Her analytical thinking is exceptional, and she's not intimidated by my family name or resources. He paused. Also, she's pretty, but that's secondary to her intelligence. Roberta bit back a smile. You like her. I respect her. You like her. Professional admiration is not the same as you like her. Kai's jaw set. I'm going to school now. This conversation is over. Kai has a crush, Roberta called after him. I'm 7, he called back, already heading for the door where his new security detail was waiting. I don't have crushes. I have strategic alliances. That's what your father said about me. That's different. How? Kai paused in the doorway, turned back. Because Dad was stupid about his feelings for 7 years. I'm not wasting that kind of time. If I'm going to have a strategic alliance with virtue, I'm going to be efficient about it. He left. Roberta sat in her kitchen, coffee cooling in her hand, and laughed until she cried. Her 7-year-old son had just out-logicked himself into admitting he liked a girl. She couldn't wait to tell Min-jae. Her phone buzzed. Text from her husband. Daehan's CEO has agreed to a meeting. 10 a.m. their headquarters. Problem is being handled. Don't worry, I love you. Roberta texted back. What did you do? Nothing illegal. Probably. Don't ask questions you don't want answered. Min-jae. I love you. See you tonight. Wear something nice. I'm taking you to dinner. We have dinner with your mother tonight. I canceled. Told her we needed date night. She approved. Apparently you need more practice being married to me. What does that mean? She says you're too independent. I told her that's why I married you. She said I was being difficult. I said I learned from the best. She hung up on me. Roberta smiled despite herself. Your mother terrifies me. She terrifies everyone. It's her signature move. Love you. Kiss Kai for me. He's already at school. Then kiss him when he gets home. I'm delegating parental affection to you until I'm done making people regret threatening my family. Please don't kill anyone. No promises. He sent a heart emoji. Roberta sent one back. Then she got ready for work, wondering what, exactly, her husband was doing at Daehan Industries headquarters, and whether she should be proud or terrified. Probably both. Min-jae Han walked into Daehan Industries like he owned it, which technically, after the morning's maneuvering, he sort of did. Daehan's CEO, Kim Sang-ho, met him in the building's executive conference room. 50s, expensive suit, practiced smile that didn't reach his eyes. Mr. Han, he said, extending his hand. This is unexpected. Min-jae didn't shake it. Is it? The smile flickered. Your legal counsel, Min-jae said, settling into a chair without being invited. Approached my wife yesterday, in a parking garage, made threats, referenced my son. I'm sure there's been a misunderstanding. There hasn't. Min-jae pulled out his phone, set it on the table, pressed play. Park Min-seok's voice filled the room. The entire conversation in the parking garage. Every threat, every implied danger. Kim's face went pale. Audio recording without consent is legal in Korea if one party knows about it, Min-jae said. My wife knew. She was wearing a recording device. Has been since the first time your company approached her about dropping the case. That's smart? Yes, she's brilliant. That's why I married her. Min-jae leaned back. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to fire Park Min-seok today. You're going to issue a formal apology to my wife. You're going to settle her case with her clients for the full amount she's requesting plus 20% for emotional distress. That's absurd. Or, Min-jae continued, I'm going to release this recording to the media, along with some very interesting information about Daehan's corporate structure that my research team compiled this morning. Did you know you have 16 shell corporations routing profits through tax havens, and that 3 of them are technically in violation of international sanctions? Kim shot to his feet. You're blackmailing me. I'm negotiating. There's a difference. Min-jae stood slowly. You threaten my wife, mention my son. Those are the 2 things in this world I care about more than anything else. More than money, more than business, more than my own life. He stepped closer. So here's the negotiation. You do everything I just said, or I destroy your company so completely that your grandchildren will still be paying for your mistakes, your choice. Silence. Kim's hands were shaking. You can't. I own 6% of Daehan's outstanding shares as of 8 a.m. this morning. I bought them through various holding companies. It's not controlling interest, but combined with the 3 board members who owe me favors, it's enough to call a vote of no confidence in your leadership. Min-jae smiled. It wasn't friendly. And I have friends in the prosecutor's office who would be very interested in those shell corporations. This is illegal. No. This is business. Your counsel made it personal when he threatened my family. I'm making it business again, on my terms. Min-jae picked up his phone. You have until 5 p.m. today to fire Park Min-seok and call my wife with a settlement offer. Every hour you delay, I buy another 2% of your company. By tomorrow, I'll own enough to remove you entirely. He walked to the door, paused. One more thing, if anyone from your company approaches my wife, my son, or anyone in my family ever again, I won't negotiate. I won't threaten, I'll just act, and you won't see it coming until it's too late." He looked back. "Are we clear?" Kim nodded, jaw tight. "Good. Give my regards to your wife. I hear she's lovely. It would be a shame if she had to watch her husband's company collapse because he made poor decisions about who to threaten." Min-jae left. His phone rang before he reached his car. Unknown number. "Mr. Han." A different voice, smooth, dangerous. That was quite a performance. Min-jae stopped walking. "Who is this?" "Someone who's been watching your wife's case with great interest. Someone who has significantly more resources than Daehan Industries." A pause. "Someone who doesn't appreciate you interfering in our business." "Your business?" "Daehan is connected to several of my operations. Them settling with Mrs. Han creates complications." "Then you should have kept better company?" "Perhaps, or perhaps you should. Teach your wife not to take cases that draw the wrong kind of attention." The voice hardened. "This is your only warning, Han. Back off, or the next threat won't be as polite as a conversation in a parking garage." The line went dead. Min-jae stood in the parking lot, cold fury spreading through his chest. Daehan wasn't working alone. They had backing, the kind of backing that didn't make threats lightly. This was bigger than a single environmental lawsuit. This was organized, connected, and it had just painted a target on his family's back. He dialed his head of security. "I need a full background on every person and organization connected to Daehan Industries, and I need protection details doubled on Roberta and Kai. Now." He got in his car. Someone had just made a critical mistake. They'd threatened his family twice. Once might have been forgiven. Twice meant war. That evening, over dinner at an upscale restaurant overlooking the Han River, Roberta noticed her husband was distracted. "You're thinking about something," she said. "Always." "Something specific." Min-jae looked at her. Long hair loose around his shoulders now, expensive black suit jacket draped over his chair, white shirt with the top two buttons undone. He looked like he'd stepped out of a magazine spread titled "Dangerous Men Who Own Seoul." "Daehan settled," he said finally. "I know, they called this afternoon, full amount plus 20%. She sipped her wine. "What did you do?" "Made it clear that threatening you has consequences." "What kind of consequences?" "The kind that involve them doing exactly what I tell them." He reached across the table, took her hand. "But we have a problem." "What kind of problem?" "The kind that doesn't end with Daehan." He told her about the phone call, the threat, the implication that whoever was behind this had resources that dwarfed a single corporation. Roberta set down her wine glass. "So what do we do?" "We fight smart, we're careful, and we don't let them see us scared." He squeezed her hand. "But you need to promise me something." "What?" "If I ask you to drop the case, you'll consider it." "Min-jae." "Not giving up, not walking away, just considering." His eyes were serious. "If things escalate, if the danger becomes real, I need to know you'll prioritize safety over winning." Roberta wanted to argue, wanted to tell him she'd never back down, but she thought about Kai, about the life they were building. "I'll consider it," she said, "but I'm not making promises. That's all I ask." They finished dinner, walked along the river, talked about everything except the case, and when they got home, they found Kai still awake, sitting in the living room with a tablet and several books spread around him. "It's 10 p.m., Roberta said. "Why aren't you in bed?" "I was researching." He looked up. Daehan Industries has connections to 6 major corporations, 3 of which have documented ties to organized crime. The environmental violations case Mom is handling isn't just about one company. It's about an entire network of operations that use environmental deregulation as a profit mechanism. Min-jae and Roberta exchanged looks. "Kai," Min-jae said carefully, "how did you access that information?" "Uncle Junho's computer. He left it unlocked when he visited last week. I may have installed tracking software." "You did what?" "Uncle doesn't trust me. Said I'm too American, too young, too unproven. I wanted to know why he was really visiting." Kai pulled up a file. "Turns out he's been communicating with Daehan's parent company about Dad's inappropriate interference in their business operations." Min-jae went very still. Your uncle, he said slowly, is working against me. Has been for 3 months. 3 months after the wedding, actually. Kai pulled up another file. He's been trying to undermine your position in the family, wants to position himself as the better choice for family leadership. The Daehan connection is part of his strategy. They're leveraging mom's case to make you look unstable and overprotective. Kai, Roberta said, you hacked your uncle's computer. I installed software when he wasn't looking. That's different. No, it's really not. It was for the family's benefit. That doesn't make it legal. Neither is threatening people in parking garages, but here we are. Min-jae started laughing. Actually laughing. What's funny? Roberta demanded. Our 7-year-old just exposed a corporate conspiracy and family betrayal before I could. He looked at Kai. What else did you find? Evidence that Uncle Jun-ho has been meeting with 3 board members about challenging your leadership. Financial records showing he's been moving family assets into personal accounts, and messages suggesting he's planning something at the quarterly family meeting next month. A coup, essentially. Min-jae sat down on the couch, ran his hands through his hair. Your uncle is trying to take over the family business. Yes. And you uncovered this by spying on him. Yes. You're 7. We've established that. Can we move forward? Roberta sank into a chair. This is insane. This is family business, Min-jae said, which unfortunately is always insane. He looked at Kai. Does your uncle know you have this information? No, I've been careful. Good, keep it that way. Min-jae pulled out his phone. And Kai? Yes? Good work, but we're having a serious conversation about appropriate boundaries and not hacking family members. Can we have that conversation after we deal with Uncle's attempted coup? Absolutely not. We're having it now. You're grounded. Kai blinked. I just saved the family business. By doing something illegal and dangerous, grounded, 2 weeks, no tablet except for homework. That's unreasonable. That's parenting. Mom. Kai looked at Roberta. This is unjust. You hacked your uncle's computer, baby. For good reasons. Still hacking. Kai crossed his arms. I'm 7, not 6. I should be allowed to make tactical decisions about family security. You're 7, not 17, Min-jae said. Grounded. End of discussion. This is exactly why I prefer strategic alliances over family relationships. At least Virtue appreciates my initiative. Virtue can appreciate your initiative at school, after your grounding is over. Kai glared at both of them, then gathered his materials with maximum dramatic flair and stalked toward his room. He paused at the door. For the record, he said, I'm right about Uncle Jun-ho, and you're going to need that information. For the record, Min-jae replied, you're still grounded. Kai disappeared into his room. Roberta looked at Min-jae. Did we just ground our son for saving your company? Yes. That seems counterproductive. He hacked his uncle's computer to expose a conspiracy, using illegal methods. You literally blackmailed someone this morning. Min-jae opened his mouth, closed it. That's different. How? I'm an adult. I'm allowed to make morally questionable decisions in defense of my family. But Kai isn't. Kai is 7. He should be playing with Legos, not conducting corporate espionage. Kai hasn't played with Legos since he was 4, and even then, he built structurally sound replicas of famous architecture. Min-jae sank back against the couch. Our son is terrifying. I know. And brilliant. I know. And definitely yours when he's being difficult. He's yours when he's conducting corporate espionage. Fair. Min-jae pulled her down beside him. What are we going to do? About Kai being grounded? About Uncle Jun-ho trying to stage a coup? About whoever's behind the Daehan threats? About the fact that our 7-year-old has better intelligence gathering than my security team? Roberta leaned against him. We handle it, together, one problem at a time. Starting with? Uncle Jun-ho, if Kai's right, and he usually is, we need to shut that down before the family meeting. Agreed. Then the Daehan situation, find out who's really behind it. Also agreed. And then, Roberta said, we figure out how to raise a genius child who thinks hacking his relatives is appropriate problem solving. I have no idea how to do that last part. Neither do I. They sat in silence. Min-jae's phone buzzed. Text from his mother. I hear the child is grounded for what? Min-jae typed back. Corporate espionage. Did he find anything useful? Very. Then why is he grounded? It was illegal. Welcome to the Han family. We have flexible ethics. Unground him and bring me the information he found. I'll handle Junho. Min-jae showed Roberta the messages. She started laughing. Your mother just told you to unground our son because his corporate espionage was productive. Apparently. This family is insane. I know. I married into insanity. You did. He pulled her closer. Regrets? Roberta thought about it, about the threats and the complications and the 7-year-old currently sulking in his room because he'd been grounded for saving the family business. Not even one, she said. Min-jae kissed the top of her head. Good, because it only gets weirder from here. How much weirder? Well, tomorrow my mother is coming over to interrogate Kai about Uncle Junho's conspiracy. Next week we have the quarterly family meeting where we have to outmaneuver said uncle. And the week after that, I believe we have parent-teacher conferences at Kai's school? Parent-teacher conferences seem normal. You haven't met Kai's teachers. They're terrified of him. Last month he corrected the math curriculum and the principal had to bring in a university professor to verify his work. He was right. Roberta groaned. Of course he was. Her phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. Congratulations on the Daehan settlement. Enjoy it while it lasts. This isn't over. She showed it to Min-jae. His expression went cold. That's enough. Enough what? Enough warnings. Enough threats. He stood, pulled out his phone. If they want a war, they'll get one, but they're going to learn something very important first. What's that? No one threatens Han Min-jae's family and walks away intact. He made a call, and Roberta realized that the man she married wasn't just a billionaire or a former mafia boss. He was someone who would burn the entire city down to keep his family safe. And somehow, that should probably scare her. But it didn't, because she'd do the exact same thing. If anyone watching this thinks 7-year-old Kai conducting corporate espionage is wild, just wait. We haven't even gotten to the part where he exposes his uncle's conspiracy and watches him lose everything. Drop a like if you're loving this chaos, and keep watching because things are about to get even more complicated. The next morning, Min-jae's mother arrived at 6 a.m. sharp. Kai answered the door, still grounded but impeccably dressed in his school uniform. Diddy. Grandmother. He said formally. This is unexpected. No, it's not. I texted your father I was coming. She swept past him into the house, elegant in a designer hanbok, carrying herself like the queen she essentially was. Where's the information on your uncle? I'm grounded. For? Corporate espionage. Were you successful? Very. Then you're doing fine work. Where's the data? Kai blinked. I'm grounded from my tablet. This is family business. Grounding is suspended for matters of family security. She looked around. Where are your parents? Mom's getting ready for work. Dad's on a conference call threatening someone. I believe it's the person who texted Mom last night. Good. He should be threatening people. It builds character. She settled onto the couch. Get your tablet. Show me what you found. Kai hesitated. Grandmother, I appreciate your confidence, but Dad specifically said, your father works for me, the family works for me, and right now, the family needs the information you uncovered. Get your tablet. Kai got his tablet. 20 minutes later, Min-jae walked into the living room to find his mother and his son conducting what appeared to be a tactical briefing. Here, Kai was saying, pulling up files. Uncle Junho transferred 500 million won last week to this account. It's registered to a shell corporation, but the beneficial owner is Park Min-seok. The lawyer who threatened Roberta, Grandmother said. Exactly. Uncle Junho hired him specifically to go after Mom. The environmental case was convenient cover, but the real goal was to make Dad look unstable for overreacting to protect her. Strategic. Grandmother's expression was neutral, but her eyes were calculating. Junho always was clever, not clever enough, apparently. She looked at her grandson. What else? Kai pulled up more files. Min-jae cleared his throat. They both looked up. Mother, he said, I grounded him. I ungrounded him. Family business takes precedence. That's not how parenting works. I raised you. I know exactly how parenting works. She turned back to Kai. Continue. Kai looked at his father. I'm caught between conflicting authority figures. Choose the one who's scarier, grandmother said. That's you, Kai said immediately. Smart boy. Min-jae pinched the bridge of his nose. Mother, my brother is attempting to undermine your position and potentially destroy your family. Your wife is being threatened by people with enough resources to make good on those threats, and your son has uncovered the connection between these two things before your security team did. She looked at him. So you can either stand there being paternal, or you can sit down and help us plan how to handle Jun-ho at next week's meeting. Min-jae sat down. For the record, he said, I don't like this. Your feelings are noted. Grandmother turned back to Kai. Show me the board member connections. Kai pulled up more files. Uncle Jun-ho has been cultivating relationships with 3 board members. He's promised them preferential treatment if they support his takeover bid. Names: Lee Dong-gun, Park Sang-min, and Choi Young-soo. Grandmother's expression didn't change. I'll handle them. How? By reminding them that I'm still alive and still very capable of making their lives extremely difficult if they betray my son. She looked at Min-jae. You need to address Jun-ho directly, before the meeting. Make it clear that we know what he's planning. That tips our hand. No, that gives him a chance to withdraw gracefully. If he refuses, we destroy him at the meeting. She stood. Family is everything, but family members who betray us learn that loyalty matters more than blood. You're going to disinherit him, Min-jae said. If necessary. She looked at Kai. Thank you for the information. You did well. Thank you, grandmother. You're welcome. Also, you're still grounded. What? But you just said... Family business is an exception to grounding. Once family business is concluded, the grounding resumes. She looked at Min-jae. Good parenting, maintaining boundaries while allowing necessary exceptions. Thank you? She left. Kai looked at his father. I'm very confused about whether I'm grounded or not. You're grounded except when you're doing corporate espionage for your grandmother, apparently. This family has very inconsistent disciplinary policies. Tell me about it. Min-jae sat down next to him. Kai, what you found, that was good work, important work, but it was also dangerous. I know. Uncle Jun-ho is not going to be happy when he finds out you exposed him. I'm aware. And you did it anyway. Someone needed to. Kai looked at him. You've spent 7 years building this family back together. Uncle Jun-ho was trying to tear it apart. I couldn't let that happen. Min-jae felt something tight in his chest. You protected the family. It's my family too now. Kai adjusted his tie. I know I'm only 7. I know I'm not Han blood except for you. I know Uncle and some of the others don't think I belong here, but this is my family, and I protect what's mine. Min-jae pulled his son into a hug. Kai stiffened. He hated unexpected physical affection, then gradually relaxed. For what it's worth, Min-jae said quietly, you're more Han than Jun-ho will ever be. Blood doesn't make family. Loyalty does. Does this mean I'm not grounded? You're still grounded. I saved the family business. By hacking your uncle's computer. For good reasons. Still hacking. Roberta appeared in the doorway, dressed for work. Are you two arguing about grounding again? He's being unreasonable, Kai said. He's being a child who needs to learn that illegal activities have consequences, Min-jae said. You blackmailed someone yesterday. I'm an adult. That's not a valid ethical distinction. It's the only ethical distinction that matters. Roberta looked between them. I'm going to work. Try not to overthrow any governments while I'm gone. No promises, Min-jae muttered. Kai's phone buzzed. Text from Virtue. Study session canceled. I'm sick. Also, did you really get grounded for hacking your uncle's computer? The school office admin saw your security detail and mentioned it. That's very impressive. Kai typed back. Not supposed to be impressive. Supposed to be disciplined for it. Why? You exposed a conspiracy. That's what I said. Adults have weird priorities. Agreed. Feel better. We can reschedule when you're not sick. Thank you. Also, I'm not really sick. My parents are fighting and I needed an excuse to stay home. Don't tell anyone? Kai paused, considered. Do you need help? No, but thank you for asking. That was kind. Professional courtesy. You're a terrible liar, Kai Timfrey. You were being nice. I don't do nice. I do strategically beneficial. Keep telling yourself that. Kai looked at his phone, then made a decision. Dad? Yeah. Can we uninvite Uncle Junho from dinner this week? Why? Because I want to invite Virtue instead. Her parents are fighting and I think she could use somewhere calm to be. Minjae and Roberta exchanged glances. You want to invite your friend to family dinner? Roberta asked. Strategic alliance, Kai corrected. And yes, she's having a difficult day. Family dinners are supposed to be supportive, right? Right, Minjae said slowly. But Kai, that's a very emotionally aware suggestion. I'm efficient about my alliances. If Virtue is distressed, her academic performance might suffer, which would affect our study group productivity. It's logical to address the source of distress. You like her, Roberta said. I respect her capabilities. You like her. I'm 7. You definitely like her. Kai glared at both of them. This is why I don't share personal information. You weaponize it. We're not weaponizing, Minjae said. We're observing. You're being protective of Virtue. I'm being strategically supportive. You're being sweet. I'm being efficient. You're being sweet and it's adorable. Kai's jaw set. Forget I asked. I'll handle Virtue's situation independently. He marched toward his room. Kai, Roberta called, you can invite her to dinner. He stopped. Really? Really, any friend of yours is welcome. Strategic alliance. Any strategic alliance of yours is welcome? Kai considered. She'll need to be picked up and dropped off. Her parents probably shouldn't see our house. Why not? Because Dad's security detail would intimidate them. Our house is the size of their entire neighborhood, and Virtue specifically said she doesn't want people knowing her family is going through a difficult time. Professional discretion. Minjae looked at his son. You're protecting her privacy. I'm respecting her boundaries. You like her so much. I'm going to my room now. This conversation is over. He left. Roberta looked at Minjae. Our son has his first crush. Our son is conducting emotional risk assessment for his strategic alliance. That's the same thing. I know. Minjae smiled. He's going to be impossible when he's a teenager. He's already impossible. Fair point. Roberta's phone buzzed. Text from the law firm. New development on Daehan case. Need you in the office ASAP. She showed Minjae. His expression hardened. What kind of development? I don't know, but I need to go find out. I'm coming with you. Minjae. Non-negotiable. Someone threatened you twice. Until we know who's behind this, you don't go anywhere without security. He grabbed his jacket. Besides, I want to meet whoever thinks they can intimidate my wife and walk away intact. You can't just show up at my law firm and threaten people. Watch me. Minjae. What? I'll be very polite, very civilized. You said that yesterday and someone's company is now half owned by you. And the problem is? Roberta pinched the bridge of her nose. I married into chaos. You love it. I love you. The chaos is just included. Minjae kissed her. Let's go find out what new development is trying to ruin our day. They left, and Kai, watching from his window, pulled out his tablet. Grounded or not, if someone was threatening his mother again, he was going to find out who. And then he was going to make them regret it, because Kai Timfrey was 7 years old, brilliant and absolutely done with people who thought his family was an acceptable target. Time to show them exactly what a Han could do, even the small ones. At the law firm, Roberta's senior partner, Kim Sang-wook, met them in his office. Mrs. Han, he said, then seeing Minjae. And Mr. Han, this is unexpected. I'm protective, Minjae said, settling into a chair without being invited. What's the development? Kim Sang-wook looked between them. The Daehan case. Someone filed an injunction this morning blocking the settlement. Roberta sat forward. On what grounds? Improper legal procedure. Claims you coerced Daehan into settling through illegal means. He slid a file across the desk. They're accusing you of working with your husband to blackmail their company. Min-jae's expression didn't change. Interesting. Did you? Kim Sang-wook asked Roberta. No. Did your husband? I negotiated, Min-jae said smoothly, very aggressively, but everything I did was legal. Uncomfortable for them, yes, but legal. The injunction claims otherwise. Then they'll need to prove it, which they can't, because it didn't happen. Min-jae stood. Who filed the injunction? A corporate law firm, Beck and Associates. I know them, small firm, wouldn't handle something this big unless they had significant backing. Min-jae pulled out his phone. Which means someone powerful is behind this. That's what we thought, Kim Sang-wook said, which is why I wanted to talk to you, Mrs. Han. This case is getting complicated, potentially dangerous, and the firm has a reputation to protect. Roberta's blood went cold. Are you asking me to drop the case? I'm suggesting you consider the broader implications. You're asking me to drop it. I'm asking you to be realistic about what you're up against. I'm up against someone who threatened me in a parking garage and is now trying to intimidate me through legal maneuvering. I'm not backing down. Mrs. Han, I earned my place here. I closed the Huang merger in 3 weeks. I've won every case I've touched since joining this firm. And now, because someone powerful doesn't like losing, you want me to fold? I want you to be smart. I am being smart enough to know that if I back down now, every client will see me as someone who can be intimidated. Every opposing counsel will know they can threaten me into quitting. She stood. I'm not dropping the case. Kim Sang-wook looked at Min-jae. Can you talk to her? About what? Min-jae said. She's right. If she backs down, she loses credibility, and she worked too hard to build that credibility to let some coward with deep pockets take it away. This could affect the firm's relationship with major clients. Then find better clients, ones who don't threaten opposing counsel in parking garages. Kim Sang-wook's jaw tightened. Mr. Han, I appreciate your support of your wife, but this is a business decision. Then make the right business decision. Back her. Show Seoul that this firm doesn't bend to intimidation. That'll attract better clients than any amount of political maneuvering, or it'll get us blacklisted by every major corporation in the city. Only the corrupt ones, the ones worth working with, will respect you for it. Min-jae stepped closer. Here's what's going to happen. Roberta is keeping the case. She's going to fight the injunction. She's going to win. And when she does, this firm is going to be known as the one that took on power and didn't blink. And if she loses? She won't. You can't guarantee that. Watch me. Min-jae turned to Roberta. Let's go. You have an injunction to fight. They left. In the car, Roberta was shaking, not from fear, from rage. They want me to quit, she said. I know. After everything I've done, every case I've won, they want me to just fold. I know. I'm not going to. I know. Min-jae reached over, took her hand. And I'm going to help you. How? By finding out who filed that injunction and making them regret it. His phone buzzed. He answered. Yes? His expression changed. When? Pause. How bad? Another pause. We're on our way. He hung up. What happened? Someone tried to break into Kai's school. Roberta's heart stopped. What? Security stopped them. No one was hurt, but they were specifically asking for Kai. Drive faster. Min-jae was already accelerating. They reached Seoul Foreign School in 15 minutes. Found Kai in the principal's office, perfectly calm, sitting with his security detail. Roberta rushed to him, pulled him into a hug. I'm fine, Mom. Someone tried to kidnap you. Someone tried to access the building using false credentials. My security detail stopped them before they got anywhere near me. I was in class the entire time. He pulled back. I'm fine, really. Min-jae was talking to the head of security. Description? Male, early 30s, said he was Kai's uncle, provided false documentation. We verified with the family registry, no match. Cameras? Got full footage. Send it to my phone, now. The security guard complied. Min-jae looked at the images. His expression went carefully blank. What? Roberta asked. He showed her. The man in the photo was wearing a Bayek and Associates Company badge, the same firm that had filed the injunction. They went after our son, Roberta said quietly. Yes. They threatened him directly. Yes. What do we do? Min-jae looked at her, then at Kai. We end this, he said. Today, right now. No more warnings, no more negotiations. How? By showing them exactly what happens when you threaten a Han. He made a call. Mother, it's time. Call the family meeting early, tonight, and tell Junho he's expected to attend. Pause. Because his business partners just tried to kidnap my son, and I'm going to make him explain why. He hung up, looked at the principal. Double security on Kai. No one gets near him without written authorization from me or my wife. No exceptions. Mr. Han. This isn't a request. The principal nodded. Min-jae crouched in front of Kai. Are you really okay? I am. Security was efficient. I was never in danger. Good. He put his hands on Kai's shoulders. Listen to me. What's about to happen? It's not going to be pleasant. Family is going to turn on family. Accusations will be made, and it's going to be ugly. I understand. No, you don't. Not yet. Min-jae's expression was serious. But you will, and I need you to remember something. None of this is because of you. This is about power, about people who thought they could use you, use your mother, use our family as leverage for their own gain. I know, Dad, and I need you to trust me. Whatever happens tonight, whatever you see or hear, trust that I'm doing what needs to be done to protect our family. Always. Min-jae pulled him into a hug, and Roberta realized that her husband wasn't just protecting their family. He was going to war, and God help anyone who got in his way. That evening, the Han family meeting convened early. Every major family member, every board member, the matriarch at the head of the table, and Junho, sitting across from Min-jae, smiling like he hadn't just tried to destroy his nephew's family. This is unusual, Junho said, calling a meeting with only a few hours' notice. Emergency circumstances, grandmother said. Someone attempted to kidnap my grandson this morning. The table went silent. That's terrible, Junho said. Do we know who? Yes, Min-jae said. Someone from Bayek and Associates, the same firm that filed an injunction against my wife's case this morning. The same firm you've been paying for the last 3 months. Junho's smile flickered. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. Kai's voice clear and calm from where he sat beside his father. You hired them to block Mom's case, to make Dad look unstable for protecting her, and when that didn't work fast enough, you escalated to direct action. This is absurd. I'm your uncle. I would never. You've been moving family assets into personal accounts, Kai continued. You've been cultivating board members against Dad, and you've been working with Daehan Industries backers to undermine our family's position. He pulled out his tablet. I have documentation, all of it, every transaction, every meeting, every communication. Junho shot to his feet. You hacked my accounts? I installed software on your computer when you left it unlocked. That's different. You're 7 years old, and you tried to kidnap me. Age seems irrelevant at this point. Grandmother slammed her hand on the table. Silence fell. Sit down. Junho sat. She looked at Kai. Show me. Kai pulled up the files, projected them onto the screen at the end of the conference room. Financial transfers, meeting schedules, email correspondence, text messages coordinating with Bayek and Associates, plans to use Roberta's case as leverage to make Min-jae look emotionally compromised and unfit for leadership. And there, in black and white, the message that made everyone at the table go pale. If legal pressure doesn't work, we'll need to apply personal pressure. The child is the obvious leverage point. Junho's face had gone white. I didn't authorize that, he said. I never said to go after Kai. But you knew. Min-jae's voice was cold, dead. You knew your partners were escalating. You knew they were threatening my wife, and you did nothing to stop it because it served your purposes. I was trying to protect the family business from your emotional decisions. By partnering with people who threaten children? Grandmother's voice could have cut glass. By betraying your own blood for what? A chance at leadership you've never been capable of handling? I'm more capable than him. Junho pointed at Minjae. He married an outsider, had a child with her, brought them into our family without consideration for tradition or... Enough. Grandmother stood. Roberta Timfrey is brilliant, accomplished, and has done more for this family in 6 months than you have in 6 years. Kai is the smartest child I've ever met, including you at his age, and Minjae has built this company into something legitimate while you've been scheming in shadows. She walked around the table slowly. You want to talk about family? About tradition? Family means loyalty. Family means protecting each other. You've done neither. She stopped in front of Junho. You're out. You can't. I can. I am. You're removed from all family business operations effective immediately. Your shares revert to family trust. Your access to accounts is revoked, and you are no longer welcome at family gatherings until you can explain to me how you plan to make amends for what you've done. Junho looked around the table, at the board members who wouldn't meet his eyes, at family members who looked away. You're choosing him over me, your own brother. I'm choosing the family over your ambition. Grandmother returned to her seat. Leave, before I change my mind about being merciful. Junho stood, looked at Minjae. This isn't over. Yes, Minjae said quietly. It is, and Junho, if you or anyone you're associated with comes near my family again, mercy won't be an option. I'll end you so completely, you'll wish I just killed you instead. Junho left. The room stayed silent for a long moment. Then grandmother looked at Kai. Good work exposing him, though we still need to discuss appropriate methods of intelligence gathering. I'm already grounded, Kai said. For 2 weeks, I'm extending it to 3. What? Why? For giving your uncle access to your hacking skills by being careless with your security protocols. If you're going to conduct espionage, do it properly. Don't leave digital footprints. Kai's jaw dropped. You're grounding me for not being better at hacking? I'm grounding you for being sloppy. The Han family has standards. She looked at the board members. Anyone else want to question Minjae's leadership? Now would be the time. No one spoke. Good. Meeting adjourned. She stood. Minjae, Roberta, stay. We need to discuss the people behind Bayek and Associates. The room cleared. When it was just the 3 of them plus Kai, grandmother sat back down. Daehan Industries is a front. The environmental violations are real, but they're small compared to what's really happening. Someone is using them as a testing ground. For what? Roberta asked. Political. Influence. They're trying to prove they can manipulate legal outcomes. Make examples of people who challenge them. Your case became a demonstration of power. She looked at Roberta. Which means you're not just fighting a corporation. You're fighting someone who needs to be seen as untouchable. Who? I don't know yet, but I will. She looked at Minjae. Double Kai's security, triple Roberta's, and start preparing for a long fight, because whoever this is, they're not going to stop just because Junho failed. I know. Good, now go home, spend time with your family. Tomorrow we go to war. They left. In the car, Kai was quiet. You okay? Minjae asked. Uncle Junho really hated us. Not us, me. You and your mom just became convenient targets. That's not better. I know. Minjae glanced in the rearview mirror. But it's over now. He can't hurt us anymore. You don't know that. Grandmother said the people behind this won't stop. Then we keep fighting. Together. Kai was quiet for another moment. Then, Dad. Yeah. Thank you for protecting us. Minjae's throat went tight. Always, Kai. Always. At home, Roberta made hot chocolate. Kai sat at the kitchen counter, still processing everything. I made Uncle Junho lose his inheritance, he said. No, Roberta said firmly. Uncle Junho made himself lose his inheritance by being cruel and stupid and greedy. You just exposed the truth. But if I hadn't hacked his computer, he'd still be plotting against us. He'd still be dangerous, and eventually, he would have succeeded in hurting someone. She sat beside him. You protected this family, baby. That's nothing to feel guilty about. Even though I broke the law? Even though you broke the law, though you're still grounded. I know. He sipped his hot chocolate. Mom? Yeah? What happens now? Now we keep living our lives. You go to school, I fight my case, Dad runs the company, and we all watch out for each other. That's it? That's everything. She kissed the top of his head. We survived today. Tomorrow we'll survive whatever comes next. Together. Minjae appeared in the doorway. Virtue's parents just called. Said she mentioned you invited her to dinner? Yes, her parents are fighting. I thought she could use somewhere calm. Kai looked between them. Is that still okay? More than okay. I'll have the driver pick her up Friday. Minjae paused. Her parents don't know about today, do they? No, and they won't. Professional discretion. You're protecting her. I'm being a good strategic alliance. Minjae smiled. You're being a good friend. That too. Later, after Kai was in bed, Minjae found Roberta in her study. You're still working? He asked. Fighting the injunction. If I'm keeping the case, I need to be prepared. He walked up behind her, put his hands on her shoulders, started massaging. You don't have to do this alone. I know, but I need to prove I can. You've already proven it, to everyone who matters. Not to me. She leaned back against him. Kim Sang-wook asked me to drop it. My own senior partner thinks I should quit. Then prove him wrong. I intend to. Good. He kissed her neck. Now come to bed. You can prove people wrong tomorrow. Tonight, I want my wife. Roberta smiled. I have work to do. And I have something to show you in the bedroom. What is it? Can't you show me here? Not in the study. Why not? Because last time we tried that, you got just one email to check, and that was one time. It was 3 times, I counted. I was in the middle of important. You're always in the middle of something important, which is why we're going to the bedroom, where there's no laptop, no case files, no distractions. She tried not to smile. So this is strategic? This is survival. Your study is where work goes to multiply. That's not even scientifically accurate. Neither is you. Claiming just 5 more minutes and, I do not, Roberta, bedroom, now. Minjae, please? He pulled her to her feet. Just for an hour, then you can come back to work. She looked at the brief on her screen, then at her husband. 1 hour. I'll take it. He was pulling her toward the bedroom when they encountered Kai in the living room, in pajamas with a juice box. Kai, Minjae said, what are you doing up? Getting a drink. Why are you pulling Mom toward the bedroom? I have something to show her. Kai looked between them. His expression went carefully neutral. Is this going to involve noise? Kai? It's a valid question. Last month I could hear you two talking very loudly through the walls. Roberta's face went hot. You were supposed to be asleep. I was trying to sleep. The noise made that difficult. Minjae looked mortified. We'll be quieter. You said that last time. Or you could just not. We're married, Kai. This is normal. Married people behavior. Normal doesn't make it less awkward for the child whose room is next to yours. Your room is down the hall. Sound travels. Roberta covered her face with her hands. This is the worst conversation we've ever had. Agreed, Kai said, which is why I'm proposing a solution. I'll move to the guest room tonight. You two can have your privacy, and I can actually sleep. You're not moving to the guest room, Minjae said. Then I'm getting noise-canceling headphones. Also acceptable. Good. Are we done with this horrifying conversation? Please. Kai grabbed his juice box, started toward his room, then paused. Also, I'm not 6 anymore. I'm 7. If you two are going to disturb my sleep schedule, please at least acknowledge my correct age. What does your age have to do with... Mom called me 6 yesterday. Then you both keep saying I'm too young to understand things. I'm 7, not 6. 7. He looked at them. Accuracy matters. He left. Roberta and Minjae stood in the living room. Did our son just correct us and negotiate sleep arrangements around our marriage? Minjae asked. I think he did. And then leave like that was a normal conversation. Apparently. I love him, but he's so weird. He's your son. He's definitely yours when he's being difficult. Roberta started laughing, couldn't stop. Minjae joined in. And eventually they made it to the bedroom. And Kai, in his room with brand new noise-canceling headphones, texted Virtue. My parents are impossible. All parents are impossible. That's their job. Mine are especially impossible. Because they love each other? Because they love each other loudly. LOL, you poor thing. Also, you're still coming to dinner Friday? I checked with them. Are you sure? I don't want to intrude on family time. You're not intruding. You're a strategic alliance requiring temporary support during a difficult period. I'm your friend who needs somewhere calm while my parents figure out their issues. That's what I said. No, you said strategic alliance. Same thing. It's really not, Kai. Agree to disagree. You're terrible at admitting you care about people. I care about operational efficiency and mutually beneficial relationships. You care about me. Kai stared at his phone, typed, deleted, typed again. Maybe. That's the closest to honesty I've ever gotten from you. Don't get used to it. Too late. See you at school tomorrow? If I'm not grounded from attending? You're grounded from school? No, but my parents have very inconsistent disciplinary policies. I like them already. You haven't met them? I like them for raising you. Kai felt something warm in his chest, typed, see you tomorrow. Then, after hesitating, and virtue. Yes? Thank you for being my friend. I thought I was a strategic alliance. You're both. That's very emotionally mature of you. Kai Timfrey. I'm 7, not 6. Emotional maturity is expected? Good night, Kai. Good night, Virtue. He put his phone down, smiled despite himself, and went to sleep thinking that maybe strategic alliances weren't so different from friendships after all. If you've made it this far and you're not already subscribed, what are you even doing? Hit that button because part 2 is just getting started. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Drop a like if you're loving this chaos and drop a comment telling me your favorite Kai moment so far. 3 weeks later, life had settled into something resembling normalcy. Minjae had destroyed Bayek and Associates so completely that they'd dissolved the firm rather than continue operating. The people backing them had gone silent, at least temporarily. And Jun-ho had moved to the family's Busan properties, effectively exiled. Roberta's case was moving forward. The injunction had been dismissed, and her partner had apologized for suggesting she drop it. Kai was still grounded but had negotiated down to 1 week by arguing that continued punishment for past offenses constituted cruel and unusual punishment under international human rights law. Minjae had looked at Roberta. Did he just cite human rights law to get out of being grounded? He did. That's horrifying and impressive in equal measure. Welcome to parenting a genius. And Virtue had come to dinner. Kai had been nervous. Actually nervous, which was unusual enough that both Minjae and Roberta noticed. It's just dinner, Roberta said, watching her son adjust his tie for the 4th time. It's the first time my strategic alliance is meeting my parents. First impressions matter. Kai, we're not going to interrogate her. Dad will. I won't, Minjae called from the kitchen. You interrogated my chess tutor. That was different. He was 40 and asking you to meet him alone in parks. For chess tournaments. Alone, in parks. Public parks with witnesses. Virtue arrived exactly on time, wearing an elegant dress and carrying a small gift box. Mr. and Mrs. Han, she said with perfect politeness. Thank you for inviting me to dinner. My parents send their regards. She handed Roberta the gift box. You didn't have to bring anything, Roberta said. Nigerian custom, never arrive empty-handed. She looked at Kai. You adjusted your tie 4 times. It was perfect the first time. I was ensuring optimal presentation. You were nervous. I was. Kai stopped, looked at her. Maybe a little. That's honest. I like that. She smiled. I was nervous too. Really? Really, you talk about your family constantly. I wanted to make a good impression. You're already making a good impression, Minjae said, appearing from the kitchen. Anyone who can get Kai to admit he's nervous is clearly impressive. Dinner was surprisingly easy. Virtue matched Kai's energy perfectly. They debated economic theory over the main course, argued about the merits of different chess openings during dessert, and collaborated on critiquing grandmother's latest business decision during coffee. Afterward, while the adults cleaned up, Kai and Virtue sat in the living room. Your parents are nice, Virtue said. They're adequate. They love you very much. I'm aware. And they love each other. You're lucky. Family that works is rare. Kai looked at her. Your parents? Still fighting, but less. Counseling is helping. She was quiet for a moment. Thank you for inviting me, for giving me somewhere calm to be. Strategic alliances support each other during difficult periods. Friends support each other during difficult periods. That's what I said. No, you said strategic alliances. Virtue. Yes? We're friends. She smiled. I know, I just wanted to hear you say it. You're devious. I'm efficient. That's my line. I'm appropriating it. You can't just appropriate my signature phrase. Watch me. They argued for another 20 minutes about intellectual property rights and phrase ownership, and Min-jae, watching from the kitchen, leaned over to Roberta. Our son found his person. What person? They're 7, and they're perfect for each other. He pulled her close. Like us. We caused an international incident, ran away pregnant, and didn't speak for 7 years. That's not perfect. We found our way back. That's perfect enough. Roberta leaned into him, watched their son debate with his friend, strategic alliance, whatever they were calling it, and thought about how far they'd come, from that hotel lobby in Seoul where a tiny CEO confronted his father for the first time, to this, family, home, safety. Min-jae? Yeah? I want 4 kids. He blinked. What? I said I want 4 kids. You said 2. I'm telling you I want 4. We're negotiating family size now? We're discussing it. This is because of Kai, isn't it? You want more tiny executives running around. 1 is plenty, but I want more children, a bigger family. Min-jae looked at her. You're serious. I'm serious. 4 kids. 4 kids. He considered. I'll agree to 3. 4. 3. 4 or I'm not having this conversation. You're negotiating like Kai. I learned from the best. She turned to face him. 4 kids, Min-jae, big family, loud dinners, chaos and love and everything that comes with it. He looked at her, at the woman who ran away pregnant and came back stronger, who raised their son alone, who fought for her career and her family with equal fierceness. 4 kids, he said finally. Really? Really, but I'm choosing the names for the last 2. Deal. They shook on it, and Kai from the living room called out, Are you 2 negotiating family size? No, they both said. You are, I can hear you. Also, I vote for 2 siblings maximum. More than that reduces individual attention, allocation. You don't get a vote, Roberta called back. I'm the oldest child. I absolutely get a vote. That's not how families work. It should be. Virtue was laughing. Your family is chaos. I know, Kai said, but it's my chaos. You love them. Obviously, they're mine. That's very possessive. That's very accurate. He looked at her. Also, you're laughing. You never laugh. It's very nice. Are you complimenting me? I'm making an observation. You're definitely complimenting me. Agree to disagree. You're terrible at this. At what? Having feelings and admitting it. Kai's jaw set. I have feelings. I'm just efficient about expressing them. By not expressing them at all? By expressing them strategically. That's not a thing. It's absolutely a thing. Prove it. Kai looked at her challenging smile, at the way she looked at him like he was interesting instead of weird. You're my best friend, he said. There, feeling expressed, strategically. Virtue's smile softened. You're my best friend too. Good. Now can we please go back to arguing about chess? Emotions are uncomfortable. Emotions are human. I'm 7. I'm barely human yet. You're definitely human, Kai Timfrey. Just a very weird human. I'll accept that. They went back to their chess debate, and the Han household settled into evening. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. The people behind Daehan were still out there. Roberta's case was far from over, and the family dynamics were still complicated. But tonight, there was hot chocolate and chess debates and laughter. Tonight, there was family. And for the Hans, that was everything. 1 month later, Roberta sat in her bathroom staring at a pregnancy test. Negative. Again. They'd been trying for 3 months. After the 4 kids negotiation, they'd both been excited, ready, but month after month, negative. She heard Min Jae's footsteps in the bedroom. Roberta? She quickly hid the test, came out smiling. Hey. He looked at her, really looked. Negative again. Her smile crumbled. How did you've been taking tests. I've seen the trash. He pulled her close. It's okay. It's been 3 months. That's not very long. It feels long. I know. He kissed the top of her head. But we have time. There's no rush. I'm almost 30. There's definitely a rush. Roberta, what if something's wrong? What if I can't? Then we figure it out. Together. He pulled back to look at her. But 3 months doesn't mean anything's wrong. Sometimes these things just take time. She wanted to believe him, but the negative tests kept piling up, and with each one, the fear grew a little more. What if she couldn't give him more children? What if Kai was all they'd have? Not that Kai wasn't enough, he was extraordinary, but she wanted more, wanted the chaos and noise and love of a big family, wanted to give Min Jae everything he'd missed with Kai's early years. Stop, Min Jae said. Stop what? Overthinking, I can see it happening. He cupped her face. We have time. We'll keep trying. And if it doesn't happen naturally, we'll explore other options. But you're not broken. This isn't failure. It's just timing. You're being too understanding. I'm being realistic and patient because you're worth waiting for. She kissed him and tried to believe everything would work out. But the fear lingered. 3 more months passed. 6 months total of trying, still negative. Roberta made an appointment with a fertility specialist. Min Jae came with her. The doctor ran tests, did blood work, checked everything. Mrs. Han, the doctor said in the follow-up appointment, everything looks normal. Your hormone levels are good. No structural issues. Sometimes conception just takes time. 6 months feels like a long time. It can feel that way, but medically we don't typically intervene until after a year of trying. You're healthy. Your husband's healthy. There's no reason to think this won't happen naturally. The doctor smiled. Try to relax. Stress can actually make conception harder. They left the appointment. In the car, Min Jae took her hand. We keep trying. No pressure, just us. Okay. And Roberta? Yeah? Even if it's just the 3 of us. Even if Kai is our only child. That's enough. That's more than enough. She squeezed his hand and tried to believe it. But the wanting didn't go away. 2 more months, 8 months total. Roberta had stopped taking tests, stopped tracking, stopped thinking about it. Or tried to anyway. And then one morning she woke up feeling nauseous, ignored it. It happened again the next day and the next. On the 4th day, Min Jae noticed. You're pale. I'm fine. You barely touched breakfast. Not hungry. Roberta. She looked at him. Take a test. Min Jae. Please, just take one. She took one, stared at it while the timer counted down. Didn't want to look, couldn't bear another negative. The timer went off. She closed her eyes. Looked. 1 line. Negative. Again. She stood there, numb. 8 months of trying. 8 months of hope turning to disappointment. 8 months of feeling like her body was betraying her. Roberta, Min Jae called from the bedroom. She didn't answer, just stared at that single line. He appeared in the doorway, saw her face. Negative? She nodded. He moved to hold her. She stepped back. Roberta, I need space. I said I need space. Her voice cracked. Please, just give me space. He stopped, hands falling to his sides. Okay. She locked herself in the bathroom, and for the first time in 8 months, she let herself cry. Really cry, not silent tears, not controlled sadness, full body-shaking sobs that she couldn't stop, because she was tired of trying, tired of failing. Tired of watching Min-jae pretend he wasn't disappointed when she could see it in his eyes every single time. Tired of feeling broken. The next few weeks were hard. Roberta pulled away. Not dramatically, not obviously, but she did. Worked later, came home exhausted, went to bed early, avoided intimacy, avoided conversation, avoided anything that might lead to talking about the thing they both weren't saying. And Min-jae tried. God, he tried. Brought her favorite foods, suggested date nights, reached for her hand, but she pulled away every time. Not because she didn't love him, but because loving him hurt when she couldn't give him what he wanted. One evening, Kai found her in her study. "Mom?" "Yes, baby." "Are you and Dad fighting?" "No, why?" "Because you don't talk anymore, and Dad looks sad, and you lock yourself in here every night." She looked at her 7-year-old son, too perceptive, too smart. "We're just going through something. It's not about you." "Is it about the baby?" Her breath caught. "What baby?" "The one you're trying to have. I know you've been trying. I hear things, see things." He climbed into her lap. "Is it not working?" "It's got complicated." "Are you sad because you can't get pregnant?" Tears filled her eyes. "Yes." "Is Dad sad too?" "I think so, but he's trying to be strong for me." "And you're trying to be strong for him?" "Something like that." Kai was quiet. Then, "That's stupid." "Kai, it is. You're both sad but pretending you're not. That doesn't help anyone." "Sometimes adults do stupid things." "Clearly." He looked at her. "You should talk to Dad, for real. Not the fake talking where you say you're fine but you're not." "When did you get so wise?" "I've always been wise. You just don't listen." She hugged him and thought about how her 7-year-old understood her marriage better than she did. That night, she found Min-jae in their bedroom, sitting on the edge of the bed, looking exhausted. "Min-jae." He looked up. "Yeah?" "I'm sorry." "For what?" "For pulling away, for shutting you out, for making this harder than it needs to be." He stood, crossed to her. "You don't have to apologize." "I do, because I've been so focused on my pain that I haven't seen yours, and that's not fair." "Roberta, let me finish. I know you want more kids. I know I'm disappointing you every month. I know you're trying to be supportive, but I can see it's affecting you too, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I can't give you what you want." "Stop." He cupped her face. "Stop apologizing for something you can't control. Yes, I want more kids, but I want you more. Happy, healthy, not destroying yourself trying to get pregnant. But no buts. We take a break. Stop trying, stop stressing, just be us again. And if it happens, great. If it doesn't, we figure out other options. But I'm not losing you to this." She kissed him. For the first time in weeks, really kissed. Him. "I love you," she whispered. "I love you too." They held each other and agreed to stop trying, to take the pressure off, to just be a family of 3. But 3 months later, Roberta sat in her car outside the law firm, hands shaking, staring at her phone, at the calendar app, at the date she'd been avoiding looking at. 2 weeks late. She was 2 weeks late. After they'd stopped trying, after they'd given up, after she'd finally accepted that maybe Kai was enough. Her body decided to play games with her again. She pulled a pregnancy test from her purse, the one she'd bought on impulse yesterday, the one she'd been too scared to take, and sat there in the parking garage alone, wondering if she had the strength to hope one more time. Is Roberta pregnant, or is her body just torturing her one more time? After 8 months of negatives and finally giving up, could this be it? If you're dying to know what that test says, you need part 3. Hit subscribe right now, smash that like button and drop a comment. Do you think she's finally pregnant, or is this another heartbreak? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in part 3.